A few days ago, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse premiered in theaters, in movies, and I was there to watch it in the premiere. So today I want to talk about the movie with you. I want to give you my honest opinion and I want to create a discussion with you. So before we start, I gotta tell you, if you haven't seen the movie yet or if you care about getting spoilers, make sure to watch this video only after you've already watched the movie because I'm gonna be talking about specific scenes. I'm gonna be giving spoilers here in this video. So if you've seen it already and you want to discuss with me, just keep watching and let's do this. Before we start though, I just want to remind you to leave a thumbs up to support my work, and also please subscribe to the channel to receive more content like this. I make content about superheroes in general. I love Marvel, I love DC. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe to receive all of it. I'm not going to be breaking down every part of the movie. I'm just going to be talking about the main aspects here, which are the story and character development. I might mention something here or there, but I really want to focus on the main aspects of the movie because that's what determines if the experience is actually good or bad. Minor details may help, but usually that's what really matters. So I'm going to be focusing on that part. For the story, I think they chose a good villain, the Spot. He's the villain who can create portals to different places and even different dimensions. So it really makes sense for him to be here in the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse since he has the power to go through the multiverses creating portals there. Makes a lot of sense for him to be the villain. I like the choice. And I also appreciate Spider-Man 2099 being the Spider-Man who leads the Spider-Verse and leads this army of Spider-Man who try to protect the Spider-Verse because he is definitely the one who's got more access to technology. He's the one who's got more access to knowledge in terms of what happened in the past. So for him to be the leader makes more sense because honestly he is the more capable to do so. I also enjoy a lot the idea of canonic events, which are events that should happen in every single Spider-Man's life, no matter the universe he's from, because those events are something that will make Spider-Man be who he is. Like, for example, the death of Uncle Ben. It's necessary for Spider-Man to understand that with great power, there must also come great responsibility. If that didn't happen, things would go very different. Probably Spider-Man wouldn't be Spider-Man. He might turn into a bad guy or simply someone who uses the powers for his own interest but not necessarily to help others. However, what the movie implies is that if those canonic events don't happen, if you disturb them, the universe will crash and it will stop existing. So let's say if you stop a canonic event on universe 616, the universe 616 will stop existing for some reason. And this could potentially also intervene in the entire Spider-Verse and start crumbling apart the entire multiverse. And for me, that is just too much, and it doesn't make sense because, okay, if something like the death of Uncle Ben didn't happen in a universe for that Spider-Man, he wouldn't. I mean, all that was gonna happen is Spider-Man is not gonna be Spider-Man. But why does the universe have to break apart? I think it's just, too exaggerated. It's too much. It shouldn't be like that. And that excuse seems like something that doesn't make sense. Also, another thing that doesn't really make sense is the example that he uses. Because he says that he discovered that those canonic events shouldn't be disturbed because he went to a universe where Miguel O'Hara was dead. He died. But that Miguel O'Hara was happy because he had a child and he had a wife. So he went into that universe to try and replace that Miguel O'Hara so that he could, be the husband and the father of his wife and kid. However, because in that universe, Miguel O'Hara's death was a canonic event, when he got there to replace him, the whole universe stopped existing. His wife, his kid, everybody just died out of nowhere. But again, it doesn't really make sense because he said that a canonic event should be something that happens in every Spider-Man's life. So if Miguel O'Hara's death was a canonic event there, why wasn't his own death a canonic event in his own universe? Do you see the inconsistency there? Because, for example, the death of a captain, as he said, a captain must die. It showed the Amazing Spider-Man 1 movie, Gwen Stacy's father dying because he was a captain. It showed the captain dying in many other Spider-Man universes. and it was said that Miles was gonna have to lose his father because he's a captain too. So in every universes, all a captain should die, but Miguel O'Hara was going to die canonically in universe, but not in his own. Why? Where's the sense in that? Where's the logic? It doesn't really fit. It doesn't make sense, and it really starts annoying me because of the lack of consistency. Another inconsistent point you can find in Miguel O'Hara's argument is Miles himself. I mean, he says that he's an anomaly because he wasn't supposed to be Spider-Man. His universe already had a Spider-Man, which was Peter Parker, and the Spider who beat him was supposed to beat someone else in Universe 42, but instead, the Spider came because Kingpin was using the Collider to try and go to another dimension to recover his wife and child that he lost, the battle against Spider-Man. And instead of going there, he ended bringing up the Spider, and the Spider beat Miles, which gave him his powers. Okay, so instead of having a Spider-Man on Universe 42, we got two Spider-Man on Miles' universe, but then Peter Parker died, and Miles replaced him as the Spider-Man in that universe, and he said that the only reason why Peter died and failed to stop the Collider was because of Miles, and that he's an anomaly. Okay, so if Miles is an anomaly and he ruins a canonic event, how did the universe not end? Why does Universe 42 still exist? How can there be a universe without Spider-Man, or how can Miles' universe still exist if the canonic event was stopped and Peter got killed and Miles continued to be Spider-Man? I mean, if the argument is that the universe will end or that it's gonna crash or something like that, it's gonna alter reality, how has it not happened in those universes? That was something that didn't really make much sense to me, but then we get to a very nice plot twist, which is when Miles tries to go back home, and then he ends up being on Universe 42 because the DNA that the machine analyzes when it's gonna send you home is of the spider that bit you. And since the spider was from Universe 42 and not from Miles' universe, it sent him to Universe 42. And then he found his mom, and then she didn't believe he was Spider-Man because there is no Spider-Man in that universe. And then he ends up finding his own version in that universe that is the Prowler, which is crazy. So that plot twist was very cool. When I recognized that he was in the wrong universe, I was like, man, he went to the wrong universe because of the spider, and then he cannot save his father, and at the same time he is in a hostile environment without Spider-Man. What a crazy turn of events. I really loved that plot twist. I think it was awesome. And then when Gwen starts realizing that Miles went to the wrong universe as well and tries to go after Miles and creates like a spider team of her own, where she invites Peter Parker, who was the mentor for Miles, and others that were already in the first movie. I thought was great. I thought, okay, now is the time. She's gonna go after Miles, gonna find him so that they can stop the spot and so that they can save his father and maybe go against Miguel O'Hara and his army of Spider-Man. But then, as you all saw, the movie ends with the line continues. I can't say anything other than that was the ender that just finished what I thought about the movie all along. I mean, I was already kind of disappointed with the way things were going in the story and with the way things were going with the characters. I'm going to be explaining about the characters in just a few moments. But when I saw that the continue showed up in the way that it did, I thought it was terrible. Because honestly, it didn't really finish the story and it didn't give a proper ending for the movie. It's completely different than what we saw in Avengers, for example, because we got the Avengers Infinity War and then Avengers Endgame. In Infinity War, of course, it ended in a way that we were going to continue, but the movie ended the story that it was supposed to. The movie was about Thanos trying to gather the 6 Infinity Stones because he wanted to wipe out half of the planet. And the movie ended with Thanos getting the 6 Infinity Stones and wiping out half of the planet. He did what he wanted to, he accomplished his goal, and now on the next movie, the heroes are going to try to turn that around, but the movie ended. Thanos did what he wanted to. He didn't finish before he gathered 6 Infinity Stones, or before he accomplished his goal, or before the hero stopped him. No, he did what he wanted to, and then we got the continuation, which is not what we got in this movie. In this movie, it started with a villain, the Spot, and he wanted to stop Miles. He wanted to finish Miles and take everything apart from him. He started getting stronger, starting getting more powerful, and he threatened Miles and everything that is important for Miles. And we see him getting stronger. We see him going to the dimension for Miles and threatening, possibly threatening his family to kill and everything else. And we also see Miguel O'Hara going after Miles to stop him from preventing the canonic event of saving his father. But then, when the action is about to go down, when we see Gwen uniting the team to go help Miles, we see Miles having some problems there, when we see Miguel O'Hara trying to find him, when we see the villain getting stronger to get the final fight, we gotta continue. I mean, it just feels like an unfinished movie for me. It just feels like I didn't get the entire experience, you know? Different from movies where it ends in a way, but that gives you a feeling of more later. This movie didn't do that. For me, it just feels like they didn't finish it, you know? And this feeling just made me feel even more disappointed in the movie. Now, even with all of that, I gotta tell that the worst part for me that really kind of ruined the movie for me and make me feel like the movie isn't that good and really disappointed me the most when I saw was the way they portrayed every single Spider-Man in the game. And I'm not talking about Miles, Gwen, and Miguel O'Hara here because these three characters, they are the spotlight of the movie, obviously. They are the main Spider-Man of the movie. But I'm talking about the way they portrayed all the other Spider-Man. The other Spider-Man that are in the army of Miguel O'Hara. That really pisses me off because instead of making Miles good and giving him the spotlight because of who he is and because he's awesome in the way he is, what they did is try to put Miles better than everybody else because he is the only Spider-Man that believes that Spider-Man can save everyone and don't have to choose between letting someone die and deciding who's gonna live and who's gonna die. Spider-Man believes that he can save everybody and he never leaves anybody behind. But that is not Miles' personality. That is Spider-Man personality as a whole. Peter Parker is just like that. I mean, if you have seen No Way Home, that is literally the plot of the movie. Tom Holland, Spider-Man, fights against Doctor Strange because he believes he can save the villains that he has on other universes from being killed. So he tries to find a cure for them so that the villains can be sent back to their universes without those powers and maybe have a chance of not dying. He literally believes that he can save everybody, even when Doctor Strange says that those villains, they have to die in their own universes because that's how the multiverse is, and that if Peter tries to do something to save them, he might mess up the entire multiverse, and Peter simply doesn't give up on them. It's literally Peter's personality. And you're telling me that all those Spider-Man that are there, and we have a bunch of Peter Parkers there, don't have this personality? All of them believe that it's okay to let someone die because it's a canonic event? It just feels to me like they want to put Miles on a pedestal and say that he's better than all other Spider-Man there. And that gets me pissed off because the Spider-Man that we see there are some Spider-Man that I love so bad. We see Spider-Man PS4 there. I love it's probably one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man for now, honestly. And other than that, you got like Spider-Man from the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series, which is my favorite animated series for Spider-Man, other than the 1994 series, which also believes he can save everybody. You got Spider-Man Unlimited there. I don't know if you guys have seen Spider-Man Unlimited, but that Peter Parker literally stayed on another planet that was not Earth to try and help the people from another planet. He doesn't even live there. And he stays on that planet to help not only the son of J. Jonah Jameson, but help the entire planet of people that he've never seen before and that he honestly, they don't even know. I mean, Peter doesn't even know them. But he still wants to stay there to try and help them. So, you're telling me that those Spider-Man don't, don't care for saving people's lives because it's a canonic event? That just, it's so out of character. It got me kind of mad. Because as a fan of Spider-Man, and I personally love Peter Parker the most out of all Spider-Man because he's the original. I'm reading the original comics and I'm loving them. I've been a fan of Peter Parker my whole life, and what gets me pissed off is that they don't make Miles awesome because of the way Miles is. They try to make him awesome by showing that he is different and better than all other Spider-Man. And if you stop to see the movie, he's literally the only Spider-Man with that thought. Everybody else is trying to pursue him, to capture him, because they believe the same idea that Miguel O'Hara does. The only one that intervenes a little is the Peter Parker that was his mentor, but even he agrees that someone should die. I mean, Miles asked him about that, and he says that he believes he agrees with Miguel O'Hara. So this is so out of character to me, and it's kind of infuriating. As a Spider-Man fan, as a Peter Parker fan, it just feels like they downgraded Peter and took his personality away to try and make Miles good, which I think is ridiculous. They could have just made Miles good because of the way he is, but not necessarily putting Peter down to do so. That is the kind of thing that really gets me mad, and it was the worst part of the movie, in my opinion. One thing that I also cannot let this video go without mentioning is Peter Parker, the mentor for Miles Morales, having a daughter and carrying her around the whole time and focusing on her the whole freaking time. I mean, okay, I like the idea of showing that Peter has a daughter now, that he was able to get his relationship with Mary Jane back, because in the first movie he was struggling, he was attempting to try again with her, and it's so cool to see in the second movie that it worked out, that he's got a family now, that they were able to live together and have a happy life. But it's so annoying that the kid is on every single moment. I mean, he's talking, he wants to show pictures. He's talking to other, he's talking about the baby. He's talking to Miles. Miles is like escaping from like 200 different Spider-Man, and he asks Miles to hold the kid. Why the hell would Miles want to hold the kid? He's running against 200 other Spider-Man that are going after him. He has a ton of things to worry about, and Peter keeps talking about the kid. I mean, I really don't understand why they focus on the kid so much. It's again, it's the same thing that I was talking about. It's the same problem from what I was talking about before. It's so uncharacteristic. Peter Parker is not like that. He doing that in the movie, like getting his daughter to be the attention every single second he's on screen. Just it's just you know. I don't know why they did that. And these are the problems that really make you dislike the movie, because honestly it's so unnecessary. It didn't have to be like that. I don't know why they, what was the idea to make the girl and the kid be like the spotlight every time Peter shows up. Even after Peter goes back to his own dimension and back to his wife MJ, after the kid is in the bed already and Gwen goes to request him for help, he takes the kid again. I mean, he's always with the kid. It's like he cannot be Spider-Man without the kid anymore. It's just annoying, really. Because of that, I honestly have to say that from 0 to 10, 10 being the best movie ever and 0 being the worst movie, I'd say I give a 5 for this movie, a 6 at most. Because as a Spider-Man fan, as a Peter Parker fan, from everything he's done since 1962, since his very first comics, the movies, the games, everything, I feel offended with this movie, you know, when they try to show Miles as being the only Spider-Man who cares about saving everyone and the only Spider-Man who believes that you should never let anybody behind, just feels like it kind of ruins the image of Peter Parker and all those Spider-Man that I love so much. Marvel Spider-Man from Insomniac, he's not like that. Spider-Man Unlimited, Spider-Man from the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series, they are not like that. And I'm sure there are a bunch of other Spider-Man who are not like that too. And portraying all of them as if they agreed with Miguel O'Hara's vision in putting Miles as the only Spider-Man who believes that, it just feels like they want to show that Miles is more special, is better than Peter, as if he was meant to, be better or replace him as the best and only Spider-Man. I don't know. It just gives me this feeling that they are trying to make Miles better, and that offends me as a Spider-Man fan, as a Peter Parker fan, for all the history that we got from Peter. I just feel offended. That's why I didn't like the movie. If it was just for the plot problems, as I said, it doesn't make a lot of sense for the universe to finish if you break a canonic event. But then again, the canonic events were broken like 2 times in the movie and nothing happened. If it was just for that, I'd be fine. But honestly, the way they portrayed Miles and all the other Spider-Man as trying to show that Miles is better than everybody else is just I really felt offended when I got out of the movie. I already felt like that before I saw the continue, which I think didn't finish the movie and was very disappointing. But for me, that was the worst part. The way they portrayed all those Spider-Man and Miles really makes me feel offended. Now I want to know your opinion. How would you grade this movie from 0 to 10? Would you say it's good? Would you say it's bad? Did you enjoy the experience? Do you think I'm being too harsh? Do you agree with me and you also felt offended as a Peter Parker and Spider-Man fan? Do you really believe that those inconsistencies that I pointed out are actually inconsistencies? Or do you think that the movie explains that in a good way and that it does make sense? Please leave in the comments your thoughts, your ideas, your grades of how you think this movie is from 0 to 10. Leave everything about the movie here in the comments and let's discuss it together. That's why I make these videos, because I love doing that and I love having people to discuss with me. I'm also going to leave a card up here for my Marvel Spider-Man discussion. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is coming. This game is insane. I think it's going to be the best experience we've ever had in a Spider-Man game. I really hope that. And I'm going to put some discussions there. Make sure to check it out. The trailer reaction, my trailer breakdown, everything. I'm going to put the card up here. Just click it and you're going to go to my discussions. And I also like you to discuss with me in those videos too what you think about the game if you also enjoy Spider-Man in games. Make sure to leave a thumbs up again to support my work and subscribe to the channel to receive more content like this. Thanks for watching and I'll see you later.